The counterattack is back on the road this week. We are live at UC Davis, home of the FINA Women's Intercontinental Tournament. We're going to get you caught up on everything Team USA has been up to, as well as our first ever live Flop Friday. It's coming up next. Hi everyone, Greg Mescall here at UC Davis at the Shaw Aquatic Center for a live counterattack during the FINA Women's Intercontinental Tournament. We have a jam-packed show for you coming up. Of course, we're going to get you caught up on everything Team USA is doing. They've gotten off to a great start, 3-0 so far through competition. They take on Canada tonight. We'll have highlights of the first 3 days of action. We're also going to hear from members of Team USA, Adam Krikorian, goalkeeper Taya Walsh, newcomer Ava Johnson. UC Davis women's water polo head coach Jamie Wright's going to join us here live. Davis just hosted the Big West tournament. That one ended in exciting fashion. We'll get you caught up on the 6 conference champs in women's water polo that were crowned last week and the playing games that are ahead. It all leads up to the final 8 in Indianapolis next weekend, plus the USA men were in action in the Gold Coast of Australia, where they took home a medal at the FINA Men's Intercontinental Tournament. But first things first, it is Friday, which means you've got to have Flop Friday, and who else better to help us than members of the UC Davis women's water polo team for our first Flop Friday. Here we go.
Welcome to UC Davis. This is Flop Friday.
Excellent job. Nicely done, ladies. That's the sort of commitment we're looking for in Flop Friday. Excellent stuff here. We caught them after an off-season workout. They just finished their season. They're still in the pool, working out and taking part. And I said, hey, you want to do a live Flop Friday? They were game for it. They've been here all week watching some of the best in the world compete. And with that, we look towards what is going on here at UC Davis all week. It is the Women's Intercontinental Tournament alongside Team USA, the defending Olympic champs, 5 other countries competing. For Team USA, though, a very different-looking squad. The first thing you have to remember, these are the first games for the United States since winning gold in Rio. You remember that team, right? The team that bulldozed their way through the competition in Brazil, that only trailed for 44 seconds in the entire tournament. Well, this week here in Davis, a much different team, largely because women's college water polo is still going on. We'll get to that later on. So you have only 2 returners from Rio, Aria Fisher and Melissa Seidemann, and then 11 high school players. Fisher's in that mix, and a lot of newcomers here for head coach Adam Krikorian and Team USA. Let's take a look back at how things have gone for the United States so far with some of the highlights of the event thus far. They've played extremely well despite only coming together for a couple of days of training before getting in the water here at UC Davis. So as we take a look at some highlights from first day one, Team USA opened things up against Kazakhstan. It was a strong start there for the United States as they came out against what we know Kazakhstan to be, a physical team, a team that can make things difficult in the water, and the United States was victorious there. They were able to come away winners 12-7. On day one also, Australia beating China 13-6. Japan, who has been the surprise of this tournament, they also have a relatively young group. They beat Canada 13-8. That led Team USA into day 2 where they took on China, and winners there again 10-5. Other action, Japan continued to roll. They had and Australia taking on Canada. That was a 10-7 win for Australia in that game. And that led us into day 3 action, where you had Team USA meeting Japan. That was just last night right here at the Shaw Aquatic Center, and that was a 10-6 win for Team USA. As now we're seeing some of the highlights here. This is going back to Kazakhstan. You're seeing Ali Thomas in there in the water, the former Michigan standout for Team USA. She's one of the 2 non-high school athletes in this team for the United States. Seidemann, the other college grad, and again, victory there for the United States that pushed them into their next game against China, which we told you was a 5-goal victory. They've got 2 young keepers on this squad. You've got Taya Walsh, the Laguna Beach standout, and then Georgia Phillips from the Clovis, Fresno area, and both have really done a nice job. This was a chance for Phillips to get the win in cage. And then they went on to day 3. We told you about last night, a win over Japan. Japan has been one of the more difficult teams to cover in this tournament. They play a very unique style, not really a center-driven offense, and they made it tough for Team USA. Coach Adam Krikorian, who we'll hear from a little bit later on, felt like his team obviously could have played a lot better. Australia had their hands full with Kazakhstan. It was a 9-5 win, the way the Aussies have been playing. You would have thought maybe that would have been a more decisive score. And then one of the more competitive games, Canada over China, 12-9. And that is where things have left us after 3 days of competition. And Team USA in the driver's seat right now. They and Australia, your two undefeated teams. Here's a look at what's coming up later on, as we have live streaming starting at 4:30 p.m. today. It'll be Kazakhstan, China, then Japan, Australia, and then Team USA takes on Canada tonight at 7:10 p.m. Pacific. If you can't get out to the pool here in Davis, of course, you can watch right here live on Facebook.com/USAWP. And that leads us into the weekend, where we know that there are medals to be decided. In addition to, of course, vying for the top of the podium, you also have the opportunity to qualify for the FINA World League Super Final. The top 4 teams here, plus China, qualify for the Super Finals coming up in June in Shanghai. By going 3-0, job's already been done for Team USA. So now they're just looking for the medals. They've already accomplished the goal here of making sure that they will have a seat at the table come the FINA World League Super Final a little bit later on. Now we're going to keep talking about women's water polo here. It's a large part of the show, but we got to look back to last week and talk about men's water polo in the FINA Men's Intercontinental Tournament on the Gold Coast in Australia. We take you to Australia, where Team USA battled Australia. Highlights here via the FINA channel. And this was a standout tournament for the Cal Bear, Johnny Hooper. He comes off an NCAA title with the Bears last December. He's been profiled this week by TeamUSA.org. He led the Americans in scoring in Australia. The only catch Team USA ran into an Australia squad that they could not get past. Lost to them in pool play and fell to them in this gold medal final. Highlights here. Another bright spot for the United States. Keeper Alex Wolf, the UCLA Bruin, racking up double-digit saves. He was named the tournament's top goalkeeper. So a little bit of a similar situation for the USA men, in that they didn't have a lot of the same people from Rio, as you have the college year still going on, academics playing a focus as well for certain athletes that couldn't get out of their class schedule to take part. So you saw some younger high school athletes, Ash Moulton, Hannes Dobé, among them taking part. But in the end, silver medal for Team USA. They too qualify for the Super Final coming up in June in Moscow, Russia. So both teams taking care of business at the FINA Intercontinental Tournament, and that leading them into where they want to be this summer after the Olympics. We know it's a 3-event year in the year after the Olympics. You've got your Intercontinental, your Super Final, and your World Championship. So for our USA men and head coach Dan Ardovicic, you can check one box. They were able to come away with a medal there at the Intercontinental Tournament, and now they will move on for a chance to compete at the Super Final. We're just getting started here at UC Davis. The Women's Intercontinental Tournament continues with Day 4 action. Later on today, we're going to hear from a lot more folks in the water polo community. One great thing about being in the Davis and Sacramento area, excellent media coverage for Team USA. A lot of the stations have come out telling the community the stories about what's going on here. One of those stations, KCRA, that's the NBC affiliate, sent Michelle Dapper out here to the pool. She was live. Let's take a look at some of that feature. Then we'll go to break. We'll be back here after that at UC Davis.
Well, some of the best women's water polo players in the world are in the pool right now at UC Davis, including Team USA.
Yeah, they're competing in their first event since winning a second straight Olympic gold in Rio. Our Michelle Dapper is live at UC Davis with more on the World League Tournament. Michelle?
Some amazing weather out here for some world-class water polo. Now, Team USA secured the gold in Rio. They look to continue that success in the pool tonight.
It's a great water polo community here in Davis.
The women's U.S. water polo team making a splash in Davis.
It's been a while for us, but we were here back in 2010, and it's nice to be back. The pool is beautiful, facility's beautiful, and people are so warm and friendly.
The team hitting the pool for the FINA Intercontinental Tournament.
They're all high school kids, except for two.
2 veteran gold medalists leading the charge.
They have a tremendous amount of knowledge, and it's important that they impart that wisdom to the rest of the group.
They've brought a lot of unity and really bringing us together, feeling like we are a team that's been playing together for 4 years for Rio.
The youth soaking it all in.
Oh, I'm having a blast.
Young goalie, Georgia Phillips. a director in the pool.
I also love to just smack the ball down too, but I like to designate and kind of keep us all as one moving unit and really protect the cage.
An opportunity to showcase their skills.
We're just learning how this whole higher level of water polo is really going.
They're really receptive to learning and getting better. They're great kids, smart kids, and just really excited about being here and getting a chance to play at a very high level.
It's a lot of fun for me, not only to teach them about our system, but to kind of learn a new style of play and work with them.
And prove they are the Olympians of the future.
Really taking this experience by storm.
So right now is Japan with a 5-0 lead over Kazakhstan in the water, followed by USA and China tonight. That starts about 7:10 p.m. Golston, Kelly, I'll tell you, these ladies, some talented athletes that can really get up with the ball and use that force and score those goals. So talented set of ladies out here.
I was thinking the same thing. They make it look so easy, but as we know, it is far from.
So
beautiful
easy.
Day out there, though.
That real fight's going on underwater.
Yeah.
It's a tough sport there. Okay, Michelle, thanks.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. Hi everyone, welcome back to UC Davis Live Counterattack here. Greg Mescall here with you at the Shaw Aquatic Center. More water polo upcoming. We're going to get into all the college champions crowned at the conference tournaments this past weekend, including the Big West champ, which was crowned right here at UC Davis in dramatic fashion. A really thrilling finish between Long Beach State and UC Irvine. We're also going to talk with Davis head coach Jamie Wright coming up momentarily. But first, we got to hear from more members of Team USA as we are here for the FINA Women's Intercontinental Tournament. First up, head coach Adam Krikori, and this has been a different experience for Coach K after having veteran squads the last couple of years leading up to Rio. He has a very young team, as we've talked about, 11 high school students on this squad, and it's been a chance for him to take it a bit back to basics. Here are some of his thoughts after competition last night against Japan. Coach, first start with this game against Japan. We know unorthodox style. Yeah. You figure out a way to win it. What do you take away from kind of a wacky game like that?
Well, the first thing to take away is that the Japanese team's playing great. You know, it's exciting to see. Obviously, they're hosting the Olympics in 3 years, and you know, I think they're well on their way to being better and more competitive. So it was great to play against a team that's kind of relentless and just never stopping. And then for us, I mean, a ton of lessons, almost a countless number. We'll go back and we'll watch some video, and it'll be really good to learn from. And that's the whole goal for the entire week, is just learn from all of our mistakes and things that we can do better.
You know, because you've seen this team, how Japan will play. I imagine many of the athletes here, maybe you show them video, you talk about it, but how do you kind of gear them up for something maybe they've never seen before in their lives?
Well, we didn't gear them up at all, to be quite frank. There wasn't a whole lot of coaching going on before. I mean, little tidbits here and there, but we haven't spent that much time together. We didn't watch any video. We kind of just threw them to the wolves a little bit, and it's good experience. You know, sometimes it's good to kind of go through that and to be a little less prepared, to be honest. Not that will be our normal approach, but you just kind of go in and play the game as you see it, and that's probably part of the reason why we struggled a bit.
You talk about goals, qualifying for the super final, getting better. What's kind of the end game for the athletes here? We know many of them will kind of go back to more of a pipeline team, whether it's youth, junior cadet, whatever it might be. What do you hope they get out of this week?
Well, I mean, a few things. I mean, one, yeah, they're going to go back to their pipeline teams. You know, we have some that may make a youth team or a junior team or junior world championship this summer. We obviously have some that might participate with the senior team, and even in the future, you know, this is a group. A lot of them will be eligible for youth world championships a year from now. So it's preparing them for that. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that I hope that they take out of it is just I hope they soak up a lot of new information and a lot of knowledge that they can then use to help them continue to get better and improve. And really the onus is going to be on them at that point.
Tell me about this experience for you. I imagine you haven't had to do this type of coaching in a very long time, maybe college, maybe before. What's it been like for you to kind of go back a little bit to basics in some respects with this group?
It's been a lot of fun. I've actually had a blast with it. I was a little frustrated today, and I'm sure they could sense my frustration. But this group's been great. They've been so receptive to everything that the whole coaching staff has said, and they're really open to learning and improving and asking questions and, you know, always being engaged. And, you know, from the beginning we emphasized just being present, not perfect. You know, we're going to make a ton of mistakes. The goal for us is just to be present and kind of always learn from each and every moment. And they've given us that, and it's been really, really fun for me.
And last thing, this new Intercontinental event now, it's a couple of years old. It's given you the opportunity to go to some different places, Riverside, Texas, now Davis. What's the response been from the water polo community here in Davis?
Davis is great. I mean, one, the facility is beautiful, right? I mean, 65 meters of water, you know, with stands and plenty of space. Davis is an incredible town. The people are so warm and friendly, and you know, water polo is growing, and it's growing out here, and it's I think can really be even better. So we're excited to kind of bring it here and hopefully continue to spark some growth in this area. And yeah, I just want to thank everyone from all the clubs and UC Davis in particular for hosting us.
All right, well, good luck the rest of the way and this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Back here, poolside, great stuff there from Coach Krikorian. Really enjoy the bite about the idea that you don't need to be perfect, but you do have to be present, and good stuff there for up-and-coming water polo players and those here that are taking part for Team USA. And one of those players has the opportunity to play with a lot of her club teammates. You'll remember the team going to Rio for Team USA, had 3 Santa Barbara area athletes that made the final 13, Sammy Hill, Cammie Craig, Kylie Neuschel. A little bit of a similar situation here. Santa Barbara is, of course, well represented with younger siblings Abby Hill and Ryan Neuschel on this team. But in the East Bay of Northern California, 3 members of the 680 water polo team have been able to get together and compete. One of them, Ava Johnson from Walnut Creek and Los Lomas High School, joined us yesterday to talk about her experience this week with Team USA right here in Davis. Ava, first tell me about this win over Japan. You had a couple of goals. What went right for you guys against a very difficult team?
Well, our game plan going in, we knew they were going to be super grabby, super physical. They don't really have much of a center, but we knew that they were going to drive off the top line. So our game plan was keeping our hips up, making sure to watch for the drives. In the beginning, we had to adjust a little bit. In the end, we played really good defense, and that's what led to our ultimate win.
I know you knew their style a bit, but I imagine you maybe never have played against someone like this, right? Water polo is so much of let's work for the center, watch for the post.
Yeah.
They don't care about that.
No.
How did this team adjust and eventually figure it out?
Well, I mean, just watching the sides, drive in, ultimately coming from the 5-meter line, watching the catch and shoot, just being on our hips and ready to hit the ball and hit their arm for the shot.
And looking at this whole week, what's this experience been like for you? I know you've been in the pipeline, but what's it like to be on the senior team here and competing against some of the best teams in the world?
It's been an awesome experience. It's totally different. Aria and Mel and all the other girls are such big role models for me, and it's just awesome being able to play with them and then also being able to compete with them and win 3 games so far and hopefully more to come.
I know you have goals, obviously, winning more games, helping Team USA qualify, maybe get a medal. Personally, what do you hope to get out of this? What would be a great thing for you to kind of take away to bring back to high school, the club, water polo, the rest of the way?
So I've been working on my skill sets, holding aside, keeping my legs to the lane, also just communicating to my teammates what side I want the ball on. So I hope to bring that back to my club team, and then when high school season comes, bring it to my high school.
And there are a couple of girls from the East Bay on this team, right? So
yeah.
You're San Ramon Valley?
You're Los Lomas.
Los Lomas. There's 2 other from San Ramon
Yeah.
Valley, but you're all from kind of the same area.
Yeah.
What's it like to all be playing on this team together?
It's so much fun just transitioning from 680 where we play to here, just knowing each other's style of play and knowing when we want the ball, where we want the ball. Just it's awesome knowing how each other play so we can work together and beat our competitors.
And last thing, what's been kind of the response from the 680, from family, from friends back home when they see your name on the list and know that you're playing in this event?
They're super excited for us. We have a lot of family and friends coming to watch our games, cheering us on when our names are announced in the beginning, just cheering for us, and it's awesome to have them here.
Cool. Ava Johnson, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Good stuff there from Ava Johnson. When you talk to some of these athletes, you really get a sense of how excited they are to be representing Team USA at the senior team level. Many of them, almost all of them, have experience on some sort of pipeline team, whether it's youth, cadet, junior, but to be part of that senior squad, to be playing against some of the best women's water polo teams in the country and in the world, it's got to be a really special experience for a lot of these athletes. More to come here on a live counterattack from UC Davis. Of course, we have our social media send-off coming up, chock full of Flop Fridays and promposals. It must be that time of year. We are getting inundated with water polo promposals. We'll also catch you up on all the college happenings on the women's water polo scene. Not to mention Austin College, a new team in Texas, has found their new head coach. So a lot more to come here on a live counterattack. Don't forget, live streaming of all the games here at the FINA Women's Intercontinental Tournament. Start today, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. We get things going right here on Facebook Live, so don't go anywhere. We're coming right back to the pool.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. Back here, poolside at UC Davis, Greg Mescall here with you for a live counterattack, a special Friday edition. We know it's usually Water Polo Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in here on Friday. We've got live action coming up at 4:30 p.m. and leads up to Team USA taking on Canada at 7:10 p.m. You can watch all the games today and through the weekend. Medals awarded on Sunday morning and early afternoon here at Davis, all right here, facebook.com/USAWP. Well, if you follow us on social media, and you probably do if you're here on our Facebook page, and you know we have been getting the word out about a fun contest from our friends at Rock Tape, makers of kinesiology tape. They were doing a photo contest where you could submit your photo entries with a special hashtag and then get a chance to win, as they said, some cool stuff from Rock Tape. And we have a winner. Congratulations to Holly Harmon, Twitter account at Sane Pluto. Some good photos here showing Holly using her Rock Tape. So the good folks at Rock Tape will be in touch with Holly to get the word out to her about what she's going to be winning from Rock Tape. Special thanks to our friends at Rock Tape for running that contest. And now we turn to college water polo. And, of course, we're here at a college where they held the Big West Tournament Championship just this past weekend. Before we get into all the conference champs, news breaking today, Austin College, a brand new program in Austin, Texas. Not in Austin, Texas, excuse me, in Texas, in Sherman, Texas, Austin College. They have named Mark Lawrence, former Naval Academy assistant coach, as their new head coach of men's and women's water polo. And now we go to the results of the conference championships. And hard to find a better finish than what took place right here at Davis last weekend, the Big Davis Championship. It was Long Beach State taking on UC Irvine. Long Beach State had gone to overtime in every game of the conference tournament. They were the cardiac kids, if you will. They tried to pull out one more win. Couldn't do it because UC Irvine had Kelsey Thornton on the scene. Let's take a look at the highlights here from this finish. This is via the Big West live stream. And if you watch this game on the stream, you knew that it went back and forth quite a bit as Irvine and Long Beach State battled. And then finally, I don't know if it was exhaustion or just a great look at the cage, but Thornton got an opportunity. She's able to swim down, puts up a lob, and is able to bury it. And, of course, the UC Irvine fans thrilled. The Anteaters are going back to the NCAA tournament, and just heartbreak for Long Beach State as they were unable to figure out a way to win a third straight overtime game. We know, of course, the home team, the UC Davis Aggies, were hopeful to be in that game, and we're going to catch up here in a little bit with their head coach, Jamie Wright, having a few issues here with our videos, so we'll hopefully get you that momentarily and show you. Trainers, assistant coaches. Second look, Thornton, the lob. That's all net. She buries it and guides her team into the NCAA tournament. We'll show you the bracket momentarily, thanks to the Big West Conference for that great video. There are the champs of the Big West, and just one of 6 that were crowned in the CWPA. The Michigan Wolverines, great run last year. They're headed back to the tournament in Indianapolis. The Golden Coast right down the road here in Stockton Pacific. They make their way in. Wagner out of the MAC. 4 straight years they've won the MAC. They're headed back to the NCAA tournament. UCLA, no surprise, #1 team in the land. They win the MPSF, and they are moving on. And then UC San Diego, winners of the WWPA. That leads us all into the bracket where you can see it was announced here last week from NCAA.com, and of course UCLA, your top-seeded team. And then you've got the rest of the squads here. Play-in games are upcoming. They'll be this Saturday. Pomona-Pitzer pays a visit to Pacific at 11 a.m., and then Wagner flying cross-country to San Diego. That's a 4 p.m. game. That'll set us all up for Indianapolis, May 12th to the 14th, live streaming on NCAA.com. And as we're talking about women's college water polo, we're going to welcome in UC Davis head coach Jamie Wright here. Coach, step into our office here, if you will. Thanks so much for spending some time with us here. I know you had the exciting task of hosting the Big West tournament. I know you wanted to finish better than you did. Just tell us about that weekend and how things went here.
Well, it was a great weekend for women's water polo, collegiate water polo. A great weekend for Davis to host. Always a blast here at Shaw Pool. It's the second time we've hosted our Big West Conference championships here. And certainly we wanted to be in the championship game, but we just had nothing but exciting games. I know Long Beach was really the heartbreak kids. I mean, they had the close game. The overtime game with Santa Barbara could have gone either way. Great game against Hawaii that was a nail biter right down to the finish. Then obviously the championship game, and you have to give it up to Coach Gavin Arroyo and the Long Beach Anteaters. They played great all weekend, but Irvine was not to be denied. They had just a great run.
Just as a guy who likes water polo, just watching that last game, how exciting was that finish?
Well, it was funny, thinking about the game. And I talked to Gavin before the game, and strategy and I had a couple of parents say, "What do you think?" And I go, "Well, the longer the game stays close, the better Long Beach has chances of pulling it out." And because Irvine can be very explosive, and suddenly they get 3 goals in a row, and Long Beach is a little more methodical. But boy, the game just went close, 1-goal game the whole way. And I really thought Long Beach had a chance there late, but again, Irvine figured it out. Thornton did a great job. We talk to our players all the time, and coaches talk to players. Hey, put shots on goal, and good things happen. And it could not have been more. It was at the buzzer of the first sudden death period. So I mean, it was pretty amazing.
Let's talk about your team and how the Aggies did this year. Obviously, you talked about not getting that title game as you would have liked, but overall, kind of your takeaway from the 2017 season and where it kind of leaves you heading towards next year.
Yeah, for our team, I mean, we were very young. We had 1 returning starter from last year's team, and last year's team had a good run during the regular season. Didn't finish as well at the conference tournament, but got up to ranked 5th nationally. For 3 different weeks, and had some big upset wins, beat Cal for the first time ever. So going into this year, we knew it was going to be a bit of a rebuilding because we had a lot of first-year players on the team, a lot of first-year starters, obviously, with just Hannah Harvey returning. But I was just really impressed with our group, and in many ways, we finished the season well. The game against Hawaii for 3rd, we lost by 1, but it was an exciting game as most of the games at our conference tournament and regular season always are. It seems like they're all 1-2 goal games. Everybody's very close. And when you think about, Santa Barbara ended up in the 6th position this year. They won last year. Things can change very quickly in our conference. And in that first round game against Long Beach, it could have gone either way. And then here's Long Beach in the championship game. So I think the cool thing about our conference is it is a very close conference. Every game's exciting. We keep the fans. Give the fans their money's worth.
It's funny you mentioned that. We're talking about this last week, and the idea that the MPSF gets a lot of credit, right? The teams are well known, the Stanfords, the UCLAs, but top to bottom, it's hard to find a conference that's more competitive, and every game is up for grabs in the Big West. Why is that?
Well, I think you have a lot of schools that are basically all kind of in the same position. You've got 3 UCs in there. You've got 3 state schools. We all kind of recruit, at least the UCs are kind of recruiting the same kids. But you got a lot of diversity in our conference too. You've got a lot of international players, more and more. You're seeing that. So I don't know. I'm just excited that we are in a very exciting conference. As you say, it's top to bottom, any given weekend. Anybody can beat anybody. So their coaches are working all 5 conference games. There's no easy game, that's for sure.
You know, and the Big West is part of this, but it feels like, in talking with a lot of coaches and athletes, that this across the board might be one of the deepest years in women's college water polo. When you talk about all the returners from the Rio Olympics, a lot of the talented freshmen that tried to get into the Olympics or tried to do national team, for not just U.S. but other countries. Yes. You've obviously been here for some time. Where does this year, in your mind, kind of rank as far as the overall depth and talent?
Well, I mean, extremely high, if not the highest year, because as you said, you have all the Olympians returning, not just the U.S. Olympians, but you had all the foreign countries, all their Olympians coming back into the mix. And when you look at World Junior Championships in Auckland, parity was there too. I mean, the U.S. didn't finish as high as they wanted, but they were in extremely close games all the way. And all those kids are looking to play college, and many of them in the U.S. And so I just think you have just fantastic parity, really 1 through 25. It's very obviously, the top 3, 4, 5 schools are always going to be there, but you're seeing a lot more parity everywhere else, I would say.
Now the NCAA championships continuing on Saturday, a couple of playing games takes us into Indianapolis.
Sure.
Do you have a sense of a favorite, who you think might be the one? It seems like really when you look at the top half of that bracket, it's anyone's game.
Well, it's starting to feel like UCLA is hitting their stride here in the second half of the season. So I guess if you had to, think of it from that perspective, it's hard to bet against the Bruins. I think they're really playing really good water polo right now. It seems like their offense and defensively they're hitting on all cylinders. But again, the NC2As is a whole different. It's a whole different thing. I would never count, any of the other schools out. Certainly, would never count JT and Stanford out. They've got the experience. They've been there, and I just think it's shaping up to be a really, really exciting May 12th, 13th, 14th.
Yeah, going to be good stuff there in Indianapolis. Now let's talk about what's going on here this week. No rest for the Davis folks. You host a big tournament, right into another big tournament. What does it mean for your program, for the college, for the community to have an event like this on campus?
It's been extremely exciting. Certainly a lot of work. Sure. I'm not going to lie there, but it was work we knew. We've done stuff like this before. Maybe not 6 days of it, but in going right from finishing up Sunday afternoon with the Big West Championship, and we're picking stuff up, and here we go starting Monday with a training for the FINA International Cup. But it's been awesome for our collegiate players to get to see this level of competition. It's always, as a coach, you're always glad to see that. It has been an absolute blast for our youth kids. Our 1200 girls and 1400 girls have been the ball girls and the sign carriers, and coming in with the teams. The parents are probably taking more pictures of that than of the games, watching that more closely than the games perhaps. But that's been a blast for our younger kids. And then the other group that you wouldn't necessarily think about, but Davis is a big school. There's 33,000 students. We have thousands of international students, and I would say the U.S.-China game was an interesting one because, and I knew this was going to happen because we had China here 2 years ago. We played a game against them, and the bleachers were full, and every time China would score, they would get a bigger cheer than we did 2 years ago, and certainly. I don't know that China had more fans than there were U.S. fans here 2 nights ago, but they were certainly louder. But it's always fun, to see that. And I was talking with some women from Kazakhstan last night, and they were here with their flag, And so it's just cool for the community to get this kind of feel and pageantry and international flavor. It's just been a blast.
And I'm sure that you're hearing about this from other folks in the community. They obviously know the Davis team, but now they're aware there's a big event here. We're hearing about people watching on TV and checking out the news reports. Probably hard to quantify, but is there some sort of effect on your women's water polo program? Is there a positive boost in having something like this here?
Absolutely. It just increases the profile of our sport and our team by in the same vein. And so for us to have this event, it's like, wow, women's water polo at Davis. I mean, you guys are doing great stuff here. So we're extremely thankful to USA Water Polo and FINA to choose Shaw Pool. We hope we're doing a good job here. It is a beautiful venue to have a game, and all the extra bells and whistles that USA and USA Water Polo and FINA have brought in to really make it spectacular. Having the games live stream, having our Big West Conference was live streamed, so just getting the word out. This is pretty cool, and we're just trying to get all those soccer moms to say, hey, there's other sports. There's other sports out there, and so it's been very good from that perspective as well.
Yeah, water polo growing nationwide. Great to see you here at Davis. Well, we can't let you go before we talk about Cameron Wright and the National League, and we're going to try and get a video up here shortly of a goal that Cameron scored. Let's take a look here at the screen. You were there for this one. Yeah. Where'd this move come from?
He saw somebody. I can't tell you how many hours of YouTube he watches of European League championships and you name it. He watches it all over and over. He knows every player on every international team and every move they do. And so I'm sure he saw this, 4 or 5 years ago. So he's been working on it. He's done it several times in high school. It's the first time I've seen him do it in something at this kind of level, but it was pretty fun.
Now we were joking about this the other day, but that video gets on Instagram. That's the new currency of cool, right? So what was the reaction in the house and among the right? I know your brother's in town when they see this go up.
It just went. All of a sudden we're getting emails from all over, California, and his friends of his that he hasn't even talked with in a long time. Hey, I saw this. So he was extremely jazzed. Obviously, Nancy's mom, and she was thrilled, and Doug, brother, uncle, and my brother. So everybody in the whole family went crazy. It was pretty fun. It was pretty exciting. So yeah, thanks again for running that.
Yeah, of course, very, very fun stuff. Well, Jamie Wright, thanks for your time, and good luck the rest of the way with your hosting responsibilities here.
I appreciate the time. Thanks,
okay,
Greg.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more, a live counterattack here at UC Davis.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. Hey everyone, Greg Mescall back here. Thanks again, Jamie Wright, head coach of UC Davis, for joining us. Catching up with more athletes from Team USA, including standout goalkeeper and Laguna Beach high school student Taya Walsh. We checked in with her last night after she picked up the win over Japan. All right, Taya Walsh, big win for you in goal. You had a lot of big saves early. What's it feel like when you start to get some momentum going in the goal?
I think it feels great. It's obviously a game of rhythm and movement, and once you get in that rhythm, then it's really hard to stop, and it's really good to get in that rhythm with all the girls in the pool, and you really feel that energy flowing, and I feel it's a really good feeling.
You knew that Japan was going to be a tough team to go against. They move very well. They're kind of a little different on offense. How'd you handle their attack and eventually figure out a way to win?
I think we took it one play at a time, definitely. We emphasized no counter goals for Japan because that's how they create their opportunities on offense. They're not really a front court team, so I think we did a pretty good job shutting them down on the counterattack.
As far as this week, the team we know wants to try and come away with a medal, qualify for the Super Final. What do you hope to get out of this and perhaps take with you forward in your career?
Well, I think this is a great learning opportunity. I look up to all these girls so much, Mel and Aria, obviously. It's a great opportunity. I just hope to get more experience and on a win. Yeah.
You mentioned Aria, you guys played together in high school.
Yeah.
How is this the same? How is it different?
Well, I've been playing with her since 12 and unders, since club. I've always looked up to her. She's such a phenomenal player. It's fun in high school and club when we played together because we both kind of knew how each of us played, and then obviously she has a different role on this team. Actually kind of the same role. She's a leader in both teams, coming back from the Olympics, and yeah, she's doing a great job.
So looking towards the weekend, you know that Australia's out there. You know there's a medal match potentially. How do you kind of gear up? What's the vibe of the team as you look forward to some difficult games?
I think the vibe of the team is to just give it all you got and play your hardest, because Australia is a really good team, and we hope to give them the best game we can. Excellent. Well, everyone, this is Taya Walsh, not Thea. You might see the name and think Thea. Taya, right? Taya. Taya it is. Yes. Thanks for the time. Thank you. All right. We're back here live. Good stuff there with Taya Walsh and all the USA athletes and coaches that joined us here. We're talking a lot about national team water polo, but we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Junior Olympics, the world's largest water polo tournament. It is less than 80 days away. If you go to usawaterpolo.org, you can see the official countdown clock. It is ticking away rather fast as we move towards the biggest event on the water polo calendar coming to SoCal this July. Visit usawaterpolo.org for all the important information on the Junior Olympics, where to stay, how to register, how to get your team involved. Lots of JL quals already going on around the country or coming up very fast. And with that, we turn to our closing segment here on the Counterattack. It's the social media send-off, the way we end every show with the very best of water polo on the internet. Don't forget, you can get involved. Use the hashtag Counterattack. Tag us at USAWP. We'll share what you're sharing right here on the show, and here we go. Well, no surprise, we start things off right here in Davis. Abby Hill, the youngest of the Hill sisters, getting an opportunity to play. Older sister Sammy, an Olympian. She's getting a bit emotional, channeling, is that Britney Spears? From there, TeamUSA.org sharing a great story on Aria Fisher. Can you be a leader and be 18 years old? You can this week in Davis, one of 2 returning Olympians. Sasha is thrilled Team USA is in Davis and has a good plan to try and get in the water and see what she can soak up from all the excellence here this week among the 6 nations. Jack Coker, a little humble brag here. Jack, showing off your sick backyard, checking out the USA men competing in Australia. Good stuff there. Love the support for Team USA. Great event earlier this week in San Francisco on Monday, a water polo alumni happy hour. Some familiar faces in the water polo world getting together. Let us know where you'd like to see a future water polo alumni happy hour. Love to come to your area of the country. Now we get into Flop Friday. First off, Murrieta Valley. Some interesting moves before the flop. I guess you got to stay limber before you flop Friday. Then we go to Jenison High School, Flop Friday. We got a few dives here. Sorry, we got to call it the dives when we see them, but Jenison, thanks for the submission here from the JHS Polo Twitter account. Now to the state of Washington and Newport High School. A little confusion here at the start, but now they get the idea. Check it out. And then Mags Goodman sends in this one some kind of senior day solo performance. We start with the flop, finish with the helicopter. Everyone's on board, very supportive teammates. True performance art here, thanks Mags. And our own CEO, Chris Ramsey, running into a fellow water polo player at the Opera. There's at least 2 folks who like both water polo and opera. This is Chris along with Dale from West Valley. And we finish on promposals. It's that time of year where a proposal becomes extra special during prom season. This one's from Illinois, thanks to the B-Town Polo Twitter account sending it in. More scoreboard action. Someone in the school is helping these folks out to make these dreams become reality. And then Morgan sends in this gem. We love the creativity and the designs. Don't forget to send in your promposals and your Flop Fridays. Good stuff all around. Thanks for all the submissions here for this week's social media send-off. Don't forget, hashtag Counterattack is how you get in the mix. Tag us at USAWP. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's live episode from UC Davis. Special thanks to all of our guests, including UC Davis head coach Jamie Wright and members of the Davis women's water polo team for our first ever live Flop Friday. This episode will be archived at youtube.com/USAWP. Live action coming up, Kazakhstan versus China, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. It'll take us up to Team USA in Canada at 7:10 p.m. Pacific. All the games live right here. Medals decided this Sunday. Make sure you join us right here on USA Water Polo TV. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for watching. And don't forget, even at UC Davis, when you're on the counterattack, look weak side.
Thank you.